Hello, and welcome to the Ilene Silverman Show. I'm your host, Ilene, and on this week's program, our guests, Vivian Washington Filer and Barbara McDade Gordon, discuss the Cotton Club Museum and Cultural Center and the 2023 Journey to Juneteenth, a series of community events to commemorate the emancipation of enslaved African Americans. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us for our show. I'm delighted to introduce my guest, Vivian Washington Filer, board chair and founder of the Cotton Club Museum and Cultural Center, and Dr. Barbara McDade Gordon, member of the Cotton Club Museum Board of Directors and UF Professor Emeritus, Geography and African Studies. And actually, Barbara and Vivian, you all wear so many more titles that I could still be introducing you.
That's all right.
For Vivian, nurse, instructor, a founder of this wonderful organization, storyteller, musician, singer with your two sisters, the Washington sisters, and just a wonderful part of this community. And you too, Barbara.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad both of you are here because a lot of special things are going on in this community with the city of Gainesville, involving all of our community to be a part of. So I want to sit back and have you tell us about the journey to Juneteenth. It's already progressing now. So explain, what does that mean, journey to Juneteenth?
Well, it's a great thing that we're talking about this, Ilene, because what it means is that the city of Gainesville is acknowledging the fact that African Americans were enslaved, where Africans were enslaved in America, and therefore, when they were set free at any level, for any state, they then were creating this celebration that we're going through now. And I say it in that way because all of the freedom didn't occur at the same time.
At one time, right.
We know that the emancipation was read on the first day of January 1863, and therefore it has been declared as Emancipation Day, but there are some other things that go along with it. Because that's a fact, the states that were not able to hear the emancipation read still had enslaved people. So as the Union Army made its way through the Confederate South, generals followed along or came along to read the Emancipation Proclamation for those states. We know that there were others. We know that on the 20th day of May in Florida,
Right.
on the steps of the Knox Building in Tallahassee, Florida, General McCook read the Emancipation Proclamation, and that's when Florida declared its freedom on that day. We also know that a month later, on the 19th of June, they reached Texas.
We were the last
Barbara's
state.
home
And Barbara
state.
is from Texas, so
And we
if you want to
celebrated
take
it.
that, yes,
We
that's right.
celebrated it.
At that time.
Yes, I celebrated when we were kids. I remember my grandmother, we would go up to our home place in East Texas and have, the barbecue and the fish and the outdoor thing. And at one time, we said that this was our Independence Day. And the 4th of July was sort of on the back side,
The
the
back
back burner.
The back burner.
But as we grew older and we embraced all of our culture, we celebrated both with equal verve, both the red, white, and blue, and the red, black, and green.
I understand. And now I would say in the last few years, this journey to Juneteenth has grown in series of events in recognition here in our community with the city of Gainesville taking the lead.
And that's a very big point.
It is.
I'd like for the city to revel in that fact because we're setting the pace for the rest of the state. I've introduced this in other venues around in Tallahassee when I
Right.
spoke of it at a conference last year. It started out 3 years ago when we were asked to participate at the Cotton Club Museum, and we explained to them that they participate to celebrate the 19th of June, which was a good, anytime freedom happened, it was a good time to celebrate. But we said, let's look at it more realistically. Let's look at the fact that May 20th is Florida's Day.
Right.
And when I
our
said
starting
that,
point.
for that meeting that I was in, then the young lady who was over it, Yvette Carter, I always
Okay,
want to
yeah.
give her credit.
Yes.
She came
Good
back to
friend.
the next meeting and she said, well, Ms. Filer, what about us calling it Journey to Juneteenth? That's where it came
Back
from.
to Yvette.
That's
I
where it
like
came from.
That's our starting
She
point.
named it. And now Florida, people, states, cities all over Florida are calling Gainesville to say,
Okay.
help us learn how
Start
to
our
do
own.
Journey to Juneteenth.
It's wonderful. I'm very proud to know that. And we are going to take a quick break.
Okay.
But stay with us. We'll be right back. We're back talking about the journey to Juneteenth with Vivian Washington Filer and Barbara McDade Gordon. And Vivian, Barbara, you had a wonderful kickoff event at the Cotton Club Museum. I could see it was very well attended, even on the cover with photos of our Gainesville Sun. And before that, a proclamation from the city of Gainesville and Mayor Harvey Ward. I mean, wonderful things that are positioning this journey. But help us understand, before we talk about more events, what does this really mean? What does it mean on a personal level? And
Well, what it means to me is that the United States of America is a place that we all belong. I mean, it makes us feel like we belong. The way we're going to really feel entrenched in America is that all Americans know where we came from, we being African Americans. When I speak with other ethnic groups, I talk about the fact that they're immigrants here. African Americans aren't. We were brought in a different status. So if people know more about our travail, what brought us here, they can appreciate our history. But because unless you know African American history, you really don't know American history. We brought a lot to America, as other races have, but some of the things are just different because they are purist,
Right.
made here in America, as in the music. I don't always say all of the things that I feel in my heart, but what I do want everyone to know is that when we all reach out to envelop the culture of each of us, we're going to be a complete America. But you can't
Yes.
envelop our culture if it wasn't written.
don't know it.
I don't
Yeah.
know it. So that's what we're into. The city of Gainesville is leading the way in partnering with not only the Cotton Club Museum, but other groups around the city to make sure
Right.
that we bring our culture together.
oh, beautifully
Yeah.
said.
Yeah,
And so meaningful.
yeah.
And it does help us all understand and join together as one. And so share with us some of the events that the community has the chance to be
Yeah,
a part of, to
yeah.
attend.
I'm going to do that, but first I'm going to
Okay.
say, I used to hear when I was growing up that we're a melting pot. I want to be real clear that I don't want to melt.
Yes, yes.
We didn't come to melt, we came to appreciate.
Right, to
We
appreciate
hold
each
up,
other.
Appreciate our cultures and love them and support them. So some of the events, yes, and
Yes.
that's important.
No, that's a good point.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
And I've heard before
Yes.
years ago when people did not appreciate the melting pot,
Yeah, yeah.
that it was a smorgasbord where we
Yeah.
maintain our identities,
Right,
but we all
ourselves.
came together. And my husband is speaking of people who've come. He came to America. He was an immigrant. He came to America in his 20s in 1960 from Nigeria, and he came to look at the American ideals. And sometimes, I must admit, there were times when I got discouraged. And he would tell me, he said, Barbara, America has a premise. It has ideals. And it's up to all of us to make sure that America's feet are held to the fire to keep those ideals together. Not every country has those ideals, but this is one
that is
country that
true.
does. No matter as bad as it has been,
Understand.
it had those ideals to look forward to and to live up to.
That's
So,
still the core.
Absolutely,
The
we
core
are
of all of
American.
us.
Yes,
That
we're Americans
you
because
both
of that.
are expressing it so well.
Yes,
and
yes.
and really making me feel it's just very positive.
Yes.
And okay, so lead off with one of the
Well,
events.
we certainly enjoyed that first day. That we set the stage at the
You
Cotton
did,
Club
you did.
Museum. The mayor walked with us on our walk. We carried flags. We sang freedom songs. We chanted freedom chants. And just because we wanted to get the spirit, but then we taught a lot. A lot of things happened that day.
Yes.
But the next thing that's coming up, and there are many things, but I'm looking forward to the history of the Seminole Indian Nations.
Yes.
Yes.
Unchained and Unconquered. That'll be 6 to 9 on Sunday, June the 4th at Oakview Park. And it's free. So we want people to be able to come and see that. Also, there's a film festival. It will be 5:30 to 9:30 on a Saturday, June 10th at the A. Quinn Jones Museum,
Okay.
which is over
Another-
on 10th Street. That's free. The city is doing all of this
The
so
city
that
is
no
doing
one
it.
has
Right.
an excuse. They can go and
That is
enjoy
so
that.
true.
Isn't that
means
great?
so much. Yes, it is. And we're going to take another quick
Okay.
break, but
Okay.
we'll be right back to
Okay.
discuss more. Stay with us.
God,
We'll
that was
return
fast.
soon. We're back talking about the journey to Juneteenth. And Vivian, tell us more about some of the events coming up.
Well, I'll just mention a few more.
Certainly.
And one of those I want to talk about is the Juneteenth. Rejoice, reflect, and remember. It occurs from 12 to 8 p.m. on Thursday the 15th, and that's at the Santa Fe Blunt Center downtown. And it's free. But then on the 16th of June, this is a Friday, in the morning at 7:30,
Okay.
we will have our traditional Juneteenth breakfast.
Oh.
We've done that for quite a few years now. And this year, because June is also Black Music Month, we will
right.
incorporate that into the Juneteenth celebration at the museum. In fact, almost the entire show that morning will be Black music with Lenore Perry again,
Oh,
and
this will be
harmonicas.
good.
We taught harmonicas before. We'll have harmonica playing there as
So
well.
all of that will take
cowboy
place.
doing the harmonica.
Yes,
He
yes.
was so good.
Yes, we enjoyed that part.
And that will be at the Cotton Club
At the Cotton Club
Cultural
Museum.
Center.
And
Okay.
that is a ticketed event.
All right.
And therefore, they would have to go to the Cotton Club Museum site, cottonclubmuseum.com, to purchase
To
a
purchase
ticket.
those tickets. Okay, excellent.
Mhm.
And okay, the journey continues for a
Yes.
few more days.
Yes, it does. And then reaching back to move forward would be a 10 to 2 event on the 19th at the Alachua County Administration Building downtown. And I think, did you want to talk about that?
Oh,
Barbara?
this is going to be a very
This is-
special event, and then it
yes.
continues, I think, to Bo Diddley Plaza. We
Yes.
cross the street.
Yes.
But something special, Barbara, will
Yes,
be
it'll be
happening
a very
on that
special
morning.
event in that they will unveil a statue, Sankofa, to memorialize our wonderful sister, Dr. Tricia Hilliard Nunn. Tricia was a public historian. She brought history, she brought it to the people. And she has done so much to enlighten us in what our
Yes.
history is in this area, in Alachua County, and in the state, and in the nation. So, unfortunately, she passed away much
Way
too
too young.
soon. And but because of her deeds, she lives on. And so the Alachua County Commission has commissioned an artist, George Gaston, to create a sculpture piece, Sankofa Bird, which she was so very much into. She made a series of them for the museum. And the Sankofa Bird, it's a symbol of looking back to go forward. In other
Okay.
words, you remember your history as you move forward to the future. Because, you know, we've heard if you don't know your history,
Yes,
you will repeat it.
exactly.
And so this will commemorate her work and it will be on Juneteenth, June 19th itself, downtown, as you said, 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Yes.
I think that it's just perfectly said and so appropriate for her memory and for the spirit of this journey to Juneteenth. The Ilene Silverman Show is proud that we've done several on the Cotton Club Museum and Cultural Center. The last one, you were there, of course, Vivian, as a guest, February 2019. Patricia was a guest. And it's still up on your website.
Yes.
Before the gala that we all attended to kick off the
Yes.
opening
Yes.
of the museum. And so I really treasure that and my relationship with her, as so many people in this community do.
Yes.
So this is just outstanding.
Yeah. Along with that, I can appreciate the fact that the installment is over, but it was her idea.
Yes.
She wanted me
Yes,
to be
that's right.
installed on my 80th birthday.
Yeah.
And she wasn't able to pull it off. But she left, she started a committee before she passed away and gave them the charge of having it done. So we're
Yes.
very proud that Barbara shared that.
Yes.
Her mother
and
was-
we were very pleased
yeah.
to be able to do it, and it's so easy to do things on behalf of Vivian and
I
the
know, I
town.
agree. I agree. But I think Patricia's mother, honorary
Yes,
chair, was
yes,
part of it. Her
yes.
parents were
Her
installed.
parents were installed in Ghana
Right.
as development chiefs in the 90s, and so it was her idea to give that honor to commemorate the work that Vivian Washington Filer has done in our community, and we are so proud of both of them.
I agree. And we're going to take another quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're talking about the Cotton Club Museum and Cultural Center. And of course, with our founder and chairman of the board, Vivian, and member of the board, Barbara. Tell us more about the Cotton Club Museum. It's been a privilege to be a part of the involvement of this, which has taken many years. But you have so many things going on now. Share some of that with us.
Yes, we have so many things going on now, and we're an all-volunteer army.
Okay,
So
yes.
we're looking for some more volunteers and supporters to come in, and the young people and people who are older, they come in and they find that it's fun. It's a wonderful mission to be a part of. It was Ms. Filer's vision. She has birthed that baby
Yes.
when it was an old barn, and we were
But
just
she-
talking about that.
She took me to say
Yes.
it about an early Ilene Silverman show and said,
Mhm.
this is my plan. Not just my plan, but everyone's plan. We are going to do this.
Yes.
I went, okay.
She
Everyone,
could see
we
it.
believe her.
Yes.
Well,
she
I
could
have
see it.
another
It
story
came
too.
through.
Of course, you can read about it on the website, but you can't read this story there because when I invited the city commissioners and the county commissioners to come for lunch, I put a big tin tub down, filled it with soda, gave everybody a brown paper bag lunch, put out a red and white tablecloth, and I told them that poor building needed to be saved. Well, it started to rain right in the middle of my talk. So then the gentleman on the board put buckets down to catch the rain.
right.
So it's going to plop, plop, and we're just talking. The ambience was outstanding.
It was perfect.
That's
But you
a
did
great-
say it's
that's
taken
great.
years.
Yes.
Like you said, there's a wonderful history of this evolvement of the Cultural Center Museum and the history of the Cotton Club and why you are
Yeah.
calling it that, you
Yeah.
know, the CCMCC.
That's right.
So we invite people to go and to learn that history.
Yes.
And certainly to come and visit the museum itself, the
The
Cotton Club Museum.
We are open on Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then, of course, we have events, and it's gotten so that we are booking a lot of private events,
Great.
banquets for organizations. Florida A&M Rattlers are having their banquet there. We had the 105th birthday of the oldest alumna of Bethune-Cookman,
University.
University. And Miss Filer's husband graduated. He's an alumnus of Bethune-Cookman, Miss Magnolia Jackson. And we are planning, Vivian will talk about the commemoration marker, but we're also planning my favorite, our Boogie Woogie Rock and Roll dance for everyone. We're going back to the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Count me in.
Yeah, I know you will.
Great. And so we'll have that a memorial to the veterans in November, of course. We have Umoja, the Kwanzaa ceremony in December. So just about
Ongoing.
every month there's something that's planned. Several things that are planned, but Ms. Fowler will talk more about the commemorative marker.
All right, please.
Yes,
Vivian.
we want to commemorate I guess that's the word. We want to have a commemorative marker there to give the history. If you're just passing by, we want people to be able to know what a great building this was. We won't qualify for a national registry because of all the things we had to change.
Right.
But we do have a marker. It's all ready to go. And in October, I believe, you can go to our website and find out the exact date. But we will have a ceremony, and we will establish our marker in the yard.
Well said. I look forward to that. And of course, we invite people to donate, to support, to become a Blue Note member at a certain membership level.
Yes.
Blue Note to reflect the Cotton Club
Yes.
and the home of the music
Well,
that it represents.
yes.
Even now, as a museum, you can hear that music in the walls.
Yeah, and the beauty of that is when we were a band, big bands club, it was a Cotton Club. The next thing was a Blue Note Club because it had a jukebox.
That's right. That's right. And I want to thank you, Vivian, and you, Barbara, for being such wonderful guests. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I hope I will see you at some of the events for the journey to Juneteenth. So glad you tuned in, and I hope you'll join us next time. Take care.